Hi, my name is Kayla Garrett, and this is my capstone project, which I completed at Healthy Beginnings Plus. The population that's served at Healthy Beginnings Plus is any pregnant woman on medical assistance, and the needs included for this population are some need medical assistance, some are homeless, some have multiple medical needs, they may be unemployed, on food stamps, and also on WIC. Some also have multiple comorbidities, some need counseling, and they do need prenatal and postnatal care. So why did I choose this agency? I chose this agency because my dream job is to be a Women and Babies, to either be a labor and delivery nurse or a couplet care nurse. So having the insight of what Healthy Beginnings Plus does for pregnant women pre and post pregnancy, I feel like was a really good thing to have. Looking in, to going over there as being a nurse in that setting. Also, I really liked what the agency did to help those in need, the women that are pregnant. They help them if they need any type of housing, or let's say they need some essentials for a baby, they help them get those essentials. They also get them all started on WIC if they need it, and just providing that extra assistance if they have any questions, and also being with them through pregnancy, and then also being with them 8 weeks after the baby is born, I think is just a really cool thing. So next is the healthcare professional's role. So this will just go over the social, the economic, political, and the cultural role of the healthcare professionals at Healthy Beginnings Plus. So the social role, at Healthy Beginnings Plus, all expecting mothers are assigned a social worker. So this social worker helps them with housing, sets them up with counseling if it's needed, assists with transportation, such as getting them bus tickets and things like that, provides information on community resources if it's needed, and they will also help them for search for a job if it is needed also. The social worker and the nurse coordinator both act as a support system to the new mother, allowing the individual to text or call them if they have any questions that arise, or if any help is needed, they help them and directing them in whatever way that they can to help them with those needs. The economic role is the social worker helps the expecting mother to apply for medical assistance at their very first visit if they don't already have insurance. These mothers are also eligible for WIC, which is the Women's Infants Children program. So they are enrolled in the program and set up with that at their first check, actually, at their first appointment at Healthy Beginnings Plus. They have a WIC employee there, and they get them started on that program. The social worker will also help them find employment if it is necessary. Next, the political role. The nurse coordinator plays as an advocate for the new mother. Many of these patients don't speak English, so having an interpreter readily available is key for these individuals. And they also help to protect these individuals from any abusive relationships they may be in or were in, and protect them from the perpetrator. So they did have an instance where ladies that don't speak English, there's like a Nepali woman who wasn't able to understand how to work just like the water at Women and Babies Hospital, and they thought that she was like neglecting herself, wasn't taking care of herself, and they were able to help better interpret that to the nurse so that she could just better explain to her how to operate the water so that she could shower and bathe herself. It wasn't just that she wasn't wanting to bathe herself, it was a matter of she just didn't understand how to operate it. Also, there's been a couple times where they've helped the women who have been in abusive relationships and protecting them from their perpetrator, making sure that they get relocated housing so that they're protected from them, and that when they get to the hospital they are protected and they are safe through that whole process. So the cultural role, this agency deals a lot with refugees, so they have to know about multiple different ethnic backgrounds so that they can better assist these expecting mothers. As stated before, they also deal a lot with individuals who don't speak English, so they always have to have an interpreter readily available for them to gain rapport with their patients and help them to have a smooth delivery. I know that a lot of them, with the refugees that are coming into Lancaster County, they deal a lot with these refugees, and some of them it's very hard to get an interpreter that speaks their language. So they're always trying to find better ways to have people that can interpret for these individuals, especially when they're going in for a delivery. If it's someone that they can't easily get someone to interpret, they make sure that someone's available around delivery date, so that makes it easier versus them going in scared and not knowing what's going on, or how to interpret like what needs to be done, those types of things during delivery. So they readily prepare them for delivery and having that interpreter, which is ideally what they really need through the whole process. So for my Healthy Beginnings project, I presented a picture booklet for the cultural care team at Healthy Beginnings. This team deals with finding the best solutions for problems involving individuals who don't speak English or are refugees. So basically we thought of making a picture booklet of things in the room in the hospital, or what procedures that may have been done while in the hospital to prepare them with what to expect before going into the hospital. This project, to complete this project, one of the nurses coordinators and I came up with about 20 different things to have pictures of in the book that would help them to present to their patients, and I then went to Women and Babies Hospital and took a variety of pictures to place in this book. So for this project, after collecting all the photos I took at Women and Babies Hospital, I also found some good pictures of procedures that might be performed while in the hospital. This way these individuals can be prepared for what might happen. I then presented this book to the cultural care team at one of their meetings, and they thought it was an awesome idea, and they were going to roll it out to the whole Healthy Beginnings team and not just the cultural care team. As time goes on, they will then be able to revamp the book as needed, adding more pictures that people may have questions about that wasn't already in the book, and just like little things here and there that they might need to add. So these next two slides, I presented some of the pictures that I took. So on this slide is mostly just like the bassinet and what all comes in the bassinet, like the diapers, the wipes, the burp cloths, those types of things. Also just showing like what a room looks like when you're going into a room. I know that the call bell is sometimes the hardest thing for people to understand how to work, so we got a good picture of that. And also I talked with a couple of the nurses, and some of their refugee patients were having issues with just being able to like operate the water at the hospital. So we made sure to get a good picture of the shower so that we could explain better to them how to turn the nozzle so that they could understand how to turn the water on. Also, another thing was liquid soap. Like, to us, it's such a simple thing of obviously how to operate a liquid soap dispenser, but to them it's something so foreign and they don't understand how to use it, and to them, they don't want to feel dumb by asking, so they don't ask, and then it looks to the nurse like, oh, well, this person's not taking care of themselves, they don't want to wash their hands, those types of things. So just like having those pictures readily available to show them how to operate things before going into the hospital, so they don't feel as scared when they get in there, and everything just being completely foreign to them. This next slide was just more of procedures that may happen. Also, I put in a picture of a baby in a car seat, because they need to know how to properly put a baby in a car seat, what way it should be facing in the car, those types of things. And we also put in a picture of the bracelets for the baby and the mom, just because that's also a very new thing and they don't really understand how that works, since it's, a lot of them come from having their babies at home or having them in a hut, like those types of things. So coming into a hospital is a completely foreign thing. Same with breastfeeding, we put the pump in there, and the epidural, and just, different procedures that may happen to them while they're in the hospital, to give them a better understanding of what to look forward to. So my objectives for my student learning project were that the student will make a picture booklet by the end of the volunteering days to help the patients know what to look forward to in the hospital at the time of birth. The student will understand the details involved with an intake day, which is the first time an expectant mother is seen, and the student will understand what each social worker does with each patient from intake to discharge. So, meeting all those objectives, as seen in the previous slides, I created that picture booklet for Healthy Beginnings Plus and presented it to the cultural care team my last day. I was at Healthy Beginnings Plus. And they're going to, continue to take that booklet on and just show it to all their team members and use it very often in their education with their patients. I also got to shadow multiple intake days, so I got to understand how it worked with every different type of individual, such as a homeless woman, a refugee, and a lower income white woman who was on her second pregnancy. It's a little bit different with each mother, but there's multiple series of questions that they have to go through. They have to do their history, the father's history, what things to look forward to, setting them up with their nurse coordinator, and also setting them up with their social worker, and all of their appointments in the future, and telling them what they have to look forward to, those types of things. And one day of shadowing, I got to shadow a social worker and understand what she does versus the nurse coordinator, which they help with applying for insurance, assisting with housing, applying for a job if it's needed, helping to get baby supplies, like if someone doesn't have like a crib or, such thing as like diapers, those types of things. They help them with that. Also with transportation, I got to see them help with a woman who was homeless, and they assisted with getting her back and forth to the Water Street. They gave her like bus passes and things like that to help her come to all of her appointments and not have to miss any of them. So, analysis of service learning project on the given population. So I think that my project will help out the refugee community the most and other foreign language individuals greatly when it comes to being oriented to their surroundings in the hospital before going in to deliver. And I also think this project will help with preventing some communication issues or misinterpreting of things, because the individual will know what things look like and do before going into the hospital, and it being their first time getting in there, at least then they'll have this picture booklet to look at prior to, and it not being so foreign to them. Lastly, my reflection. So personally, this project has made me think about how easy we have it being in a country where everyone speaks our language, but for these individuals, when they come here, sometimes there are very few who do so, and it can be very scary, and they may not want to ask questions because they are scared to. So it's helped me to want to be a better nurse with helping these individuals with whatever they may need assistance with. This project has also just made my dream of being a women and babies nurse even more clear and pushing me to achieve that goal in the next few months. So professionally, this project has made me think about the individuals I see on a daily basis that are from another country, and they may not understand exactly how something operates, such as the call bell. So just learning to take my time with these individuals and giving them any extra help that I can to help them better understand something, and giving that extra time to them and not just like being like, oh, well, I just don't understand, but sitting with them and sitting with the interpreter so that they can better understand and not feel as scared. So thanks for watching my project, and I hope you enjoyed.